What's up, everybody? You're back on two with E and Dre. How you feeling, Dre?
Feeling good. How you feeling, E?
Fantastic.
Oh, shit. It's sticking.
Fantastic.
It's sticking.
You know, let's continue the conversation regarding. Well, I'd say let's continue to expand on the conversation from yesterday. We were talking about public speaking, and one of the questions that I wanted to ask, I didn't get around to asking, was, do you think it's easier for people to have conversations, not conversations, do you think it's easier for people to speak publicly in a room full of strangers or a room full of people that they know?
I think it's more comfortable for people to talk in a room for people they know. I think that's a lot. It's more comforting because if you trip over words or you forget what you got to say, it's not as gripping as if you do it in a room full of strangers because you want to be on your best. You can mess up in front of your friends and it's cool. It won't be like, oh, it'll be like, all right, well, you messed up. Like, keep going. You'll find out in new situations they'll support you more than they would razz on you. A stranger looking at you crazy.
Not where I went to school. Man, them jokers, man, they're waiting for you to.
Yeah, but true. You get your one or two.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the strangers, they kind of give you that stare, like, yo, is he smart? You stupid? Like, you alright? Like that's the one because you don't know what they're thinking. Your friends, at least, you kind of know what you can read on their face what they're thinking. If you're making a mistake or like whatever, you could feel the room out a little easier.
Yeah, you gotta have friendlies in the crowd.
Yeah, so when you got your people,
encourage.
Yeah, when you got your people in the crowd, you can feel the room out a lot easier. When you got the strangers, it's just cold bodies, and you don't know where you stand.
Yeah.
So you're trying to hold yourself down at that point. So yeah. I think being in a room with friends is a lot easier, but I think you gotta be able to adapt to both.
Yeah, well, absolutely, you have because most of the time you're gonna be talking to strangers when you're presenting anyway. But I've been the opposite. So it's been harder for me to present to a room full of people that I know because there's already a level. They already see you a certain way in their mind, right? And you want to live up to that expectation. And I used to get unnerved about it because I'm just like, man, they see me one way. Now, if I add this element and I don't live up to what they probably believe I should be, then it's a letdown. Yeah. Or you feel as if it would be a letdown and they feel disappointed. So it was easier for me to talk to a room full of strangers because then I could show out. If I didn't produce or if I didn't perform, then they wouldn't necessarily be surprised. Yeah, right.
They don't know.
Most of the time, they'd be impressed if a black man can speak publicly anyway. Oh, so the bar is a lot lower in a room full of strangers.
I hate that. I used to hate that. Like, that shit used to irk the hell out of me. Yeah. When people were like, oh, you articulate well. It's like, yo, fam.
Yeah.
Fam. Come on.
But sometimes it works in your favor because the bar is low.
But it's still an insult. Like, I could read and write. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
so when people say, like, oh, you articulate very well. It's like, what is your expectation?
Yeah.
Like,
expectation is that you are illiterate.
But that's my point. And that comes from a stereotype of ignorance. So, like, that always bothered me. Because it's like, I can read and write. I got along this far, you know what I mean, without a hitch. Why would you say something like that?
Well, just because you've been able to survive doesn't necessarily mean that.
No, I understand.
You can read and write.
But you walk into certain rooms and certain venues, you had to pass a certain barrier and a level to enter into those rooms. You see what I'm saying?
That's not true. You remember? I've been in a room.
Yeah, man.
When
break it down, because that was a horrible group text.
So, I was attending a conference for work setting. Now, typically, I'm usually the youngest in the room, and if I'm not the youngest, I'm usually 1% one out of 300 people in the, so if, let me start over. If I'm in a room at a conference for work, chances are I am the youngest, and if I am not the youngest, I'm most likely the only black guy there among hundreds of white people, right? And now, so the burden that comes with that, with having the burden to present yourself in the best form and the best image, because you shoulder the burden of everything else that people either assume or stereotypically think black people are.
True.
Right? So, I was at this conference, and, everybody's suited and booted up, the way most people are, business casual. I'm in the lobby. So the conference is happening in a larger room, and then let's call it the foyer is where everyone's registering and getting their name badges. So I've been going in and out, from the room, just politicking, networking, going inside the room, going outside the room, see who's coming in that I haven't said hi to and met yet, because I was familiar with a pretty good portion of the room, and all of a sudden I look up and I see a brother coming in looking to register. I'm like, now I'm looking at like, all right, maybe this brother is staying in the hotel, because it was actually at a hotel, and I'm thinking maybe this brother is just curious to see what's going on here. Nope. This brother had on a Scully, sweatpants, and a football jersey.
What kind of sweatpants?
It doesn't matter what kind of sweatpants, bro. Sweatpants and a football jersey.
Gotta ask.
Why? Okay. And I'm thinking to myself, I hope he is just curious to see why everyone is here. Because if he is attending this thing dressed like that, then here we go again. Then people start to look at you because I'm like one of a few anyway, and they're looking at like, do you know this guy? Because he's black, and of course you're black, so
you're related.
You must know him.
Or you're related.
Because how else would he know what's happening?
Or you're related.
Right?
Was there a cost for this event?
Yeah, it costs money. It costs a lot of money. This is probably like at least $100 for the registration. So this is something that he paid for, right? And this is something where people are in the room trying to identify opportunities for investment. It was a real estate conference. It was an opportunity zone conference. And so if, just for the people who are unfamiliar with opportunity zones are federally designated areas and census tracts where the government is trying to incentivize capital investment. So historically, disenfranchised communities, there's a tax benefit to investing capital gains into these historically disenfranchised and communities that haven't seen a lot of capital dollars. So you're in a room full of developers, you're in a room full of lenders, room full of municipalities, and so these folks are looking to matchmake. So I'm thinking to myself, if this dude is, first of all, if he doesn't know anyone in here, if he's coming in here just cold, then he's already setting himself back, because he's communicating that he isn't even respecting the environment. And people don't know you, so they're gonna look like you, like look like a damn fool.
Out of place.
There's no confidence that he's projecting on the room, and there's nothing that's incentivizing people that are even curious to say, hey, who are you? What do you do? What are you interested in here? You know, are you a lender? Are you representing a owner who has some land or something like that in an opportunity zone? And I'm thinking to myself, damn, just damn, bro, for real. So, yeah,
I remember the text.
yeah. So you know, I had to hit you up, and I was like, look, just sent the picture because you can see it from the picture, right? You just seen a dude in a Scully with the furry on top.
Well, let's talk about that because I feel like in a conversation that we've had previously about integration, disintegration, just lack of knowledge, some people aren't prepared to go in these rooms.
Okay.
And maybe that was the best of his understanding. Not saying it was right.
What do you mean?
Not saying it was right.
Well, what are you referring to?
But like his level of understanding how to prepare to walk into certain environments and how to code switch. Because code switching for us is a real thing. And a lot of us don't know how to do it.
Well, I'm not going to let him off the hook for that.
I didn't say he was. I'm just saying there's an actual gap between what you and I have experienced and learned and some people who just never even got an opportunity to be in a room or have a mentor kind of school them on how to format to different environments.
So here's the thing. So the way that I rationalize that thing, that in which you just communicated, would be the benefit of the doubt, right? We're trying to.
I'm not giving him a benefit of the doubt. I'm just saying in general, there's a bigger thing with that because I'm not saying he should get the benefit of the doubt because if you paid for an event and you have an idea of what the event was, you need to come prepared. So I'm not going to give him that pass.
Right.
But I'm going to the conditioning of how many events like that have you been to compared to your surroundings and your normal everyday whatever, or who's your kind of like your big homie, your mentor that kind of is like, yo, this is how you tie a Windsor knot tie. Like this is how you keep a pair of these kind of shoes, and you know most people like us only have a Easter Sunday outfit and a funeral outfit. So they don't know how to go into different environments and code switch. So for them, when they get into these environments, they look out of place.
So my only challenge to that is that you know how to go to church.
Not everybody goes to church. Well, Big Mama picks that stuff out.
All right. At what age does she stop picking out your clothes?
Well, let's now we have a real conversation here. There's a lot of people still in their grandmama's basements or have a bedroom in their grandmama's house.
All right. Well then, but they aren't paying $150 for a registration for a conference either.
That's the part where I'm not passing them.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there's a conditioning behind. Some people still haven't developed.
That's not about development to me.
That's mental development. Because if you've not been in them environments, you haven't been around or exposed to those kind of things, you may not know how to code switch and switch up.
Code switch is one thing, but would you walk into an interview like that? Because
some people have. Some people have. I've interviewed people who come into a place of business with flip-flops on.
Okay. So with that, they should have to take a look at themselves and say, how successful have you been walking into a place like that?
That's my point, though.
So it's not necessarily about not knowing.
But it is not knowing because if you only have certain exposure, you only know the level of your exposure. We talked about this. You're only as good as what you've been exposed to. So everybody around you, the best job you got is Foot Locker or in the mall. You can go to those jobs and not present your best self and make it a straight interview. Because remember, it's a regular BS job.
So let me ask you this: in any of those scenarios that you put forth, would you at least take your hat off?
Yes.
That wasn't even done.
But some people don't know that though. That's the point that I feel like.
But this ain't some people. We can talk about some people. Let's stay right here
You want
in
to
the
stay on
conference.
him, but you want to stay on him.
Yeah, because help me figure that out.
Because I'm telling to you, he's part of probably of a different, of a certain kind of, I won't say a certain kind of people, but I think he's in a different mindset, or a certain mindset that hasn't developed, hasn't been exposed to things, only knows their 4 blocks. The best thing that you probably ever seen is somebody be a certain kind of worker, or a certain kind of this, so they've never had to get dressed and be in environments that we would probably be more prepared for or have been exposed to. His only way of seeing it, like I said, having a suit or having the proper code switch or decorum for certain environments has been a funeral or Easter Sunday or Christmas Sunday.
But see, to me, it doesn't even have to be those extremes, because you could go to Target and get you some khakis and a button-down shirt if you don't have that. See, I think, and that's the thing, because I've done that before. It only take, or Old Navy, you could get you a nice polo for $5 at Old Navy, right?
My point is,
so it's not necessarily
if you're not using it often, and it's not a thing that you have to actually be prepared for, you don't know. See, our probably first experience with that, probably like 16, 17, maybe 15, getting that first high school job, or like the whatever summer job.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, for them, it's like 28, 29, 30. That's a lot of years of underdeveloped or misinformation.
all right. So how the hell did I get it? How the hell did we? What was the impetus for this?
You ended up bringing it up, talking about networking. We were talking about networking.
Were we talking about networking?
Mm-hmm. We were talking about Toastmasters and having to be in front of room people you don't know, and speaking and presenting.
Yes, yeah, presenting yourself, right?
Presenting yourself, and that was a presentation of presenting yourself,
right?
And
that was a class in how not to represent.
Not to represent yourself,
yeah.
But my thing is in presenting yourself and the whole thing of networking, which is what you're talking about. There's certain levels to networking. Obviously, the first is you got to show up, you got to project, and
So before even the levels, I think it's important to talk about what networking is and what you should be trying to achieve with it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So most people think networking is what?
Meeting people and exchanging information and trying to build relationships. I think that's what people think of networking. I think most people now are getting the idea of networking as network marketing, which kind of scares me.
What's that mean?
The pyramid bullshit. Like, I got an idea, I bring you on, you bring your boy on, and we have a business. Like, that's not networking, that's network marketing, which is a different spin. And I look at networking as making a relationship with somebody where it's genuine and there's a like-minded kinship, whether it be business or personal, and somewhere down the line crossing paths to either to accomplish something together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some people don't look at networking like that all the time.
Yeah,
which scares me.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, it's transactional.
Correct. So they want their thing, and they don't care how they go about getting it. They're looking for their thing, which doesn't build business or doesn't build long-lasting friendships or relationships. So that you look out for me, I look out for you. I got my man over here, so if something happens, I call him. You kind of go like, I ain't dealing with that person no more because they got what they needed and they peaced out.
Yeah, I never learned the art of networking in school.
Me either.
In any school.
I can't even say that. We had DACA, but was it DACA?
What's that?
Or DECA. So it was like a business class we all would take. Rest in peace, Mr. Southland. He was a business class teacher. He didn't really do shit in the class, but it was kind of like learning marketing and like all this kind of business stuff. But there was always this trip every year to AquaTurf, which is like one of them like banquet halls or whatever.
Yep.
And all the different schools from the area would come and you get presentations or you listen to stuff. We usually just went to go meet girls, like girls from different schools kind of deal. And that was networking for us.
Sure.
but you had to
No
put,
doubt.
Yeah.
That's actually a good analogy. Networking is like trying to meet a girl or
Well, it is. I tell you all the time like that. It's like dating. It's like you trying to get somebody's attention.
That's, right.
You know, and
Because
you matchmaking. Yeah,
For sure.
So you gotta present well. You gotta have it's got to be a likeness. And,
there you go. Right. You gotta present well.
you gotta
Right.
present well,
If you
likeness,
want
and
somebody
gotta
to
be able
buy
talk.
what you're selling,
You gotta be able to talk.
they need to be interested or at least intrigued.
Can't be on the wall. Can't be on the wall. So yeah, we it was called. I think it was DECA. Pretty sure it was DECA. But we used to go, and it was like it's a way to get talk to girls from different schools. You like, yo, I'm tired of talking to girls from our school. Like big heads ain't got nothing. So he was like, I was looking for something new. But that was like the first. And he had to dress up for it. So that was like the first time like I really got introduced to networking. But it wasn't. I was so young and on a different mindset at that point because once again my environment was different.
Yeah, you're trying to figure it out on your own.
I didn't even figure it out. You just kind of just going with it
You
because
just don't know.
they're out of school. You don't know.
Yeah,
You know, where now looking at it, it's like that was a real opportunity to learn business skills, soft skills,
Yeah.
which for me right now and what I do, nobody has. People can't look you in the eye and talk. People can't shake your hand firmly.
In the real estate game?
Yeah, right. Because I'm telling people just do a regular life.
Oh, you mean your clients?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, damn, you think you got
Well, that
colleagues that don't have soft skills?
That too. Yeah, that's very true.
Wow.
So you see it like it's a gap, and you're going, you can't articulate well, you can't be present in a room and have a presence about you, and things that you didn't realize you were taught, like don't slump your shoulders, don't look the man in the eye, shake somebody's hand, be able to talk 2 or 3 people and hold concert like in a group and be able to know how to enter a conversation, exit conversation, enter a conversation, exit conversation. Like those are soft skills that just aren't taught at all anymore. It's a lost art, and programs like that give you an early taste of it. It's just I was just too young and stupid to understand what was in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, when you're young, you're young.
When
Like,
you're young, you're stupid too.
Yeah, you're interested in the stuff that you are interested
That's
in.
all that, and I was interested in the wrong things.
Right, of course. I think that's most people.
Depends. Some people were locked in early. Some people weren't.
Yeah, I mean, networking is one. It's something that there's very few people that do it well. Because
It's hard.
It also depends on what type of pressure you're under when you're
That's
entering
true.
that room.
That's very true.
So if you're being sent from your company, then and the expectation is that you come back with something.
Yes.
Then there's a lot of pressure.
Correct.
Right, and then people really can't
Function.
really make. They can't leave a mark on someone. They can't leave an impression.
Yeah.
Because again, it's transactional.
Yes.
And with networking, you need to get as far away from feeling and looking transactional as possible.
Yes.
Because everyone is trying to get a deal done for
Correct.
sure. But you need to make someone feel good about you.
Yeah. And what you have to offer.
Right. So what would if you had to give a few tips, right? Or if you had to, so let's do tips and the first thing that you learned, or at least that you uncovered for yourself for how to properly network.
So tips is know your environment. Well, always first know yourself. So if you're not a person that initiates conversation, learn how to be able to get in conversation. So where other people may be talking, but learn how to ease your way into groups or ease your way into conversations so that it fits your personality profile. So if you don't understand your personality profile, like what are you, a wallflower, or are you analytical, are you an influencer, which you like being the life of the party, are you a domineering person where you take over conversations a lot? Learning that process of yourself can help you out with networking. The DISC profile most people go by.
Oh yeah.
So learning your DISC profile.
Do you know what you are?
I'm an even D and even I.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird.
Yeah. They put me at a C.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense.
and
I'm very.
the person that did it said you're an owl. She assigned like birds to it, like where the D is like an eagle.
Yeah.
The I is, I feel like that's not the dove.
I didn't have no animals with mine, but I was
Yeah.
even D, even I.
Yeah.
But I was even S, even S, even C. Low, but it was really low.
Yeah.
But like my natural style is just
That's interesting.
D and I.
I don't get that from you, but
Because I know how to adjust to the room. So like my natural style
Mhm.
is D and I, where I can be personable, but I can also be very strong.
Yeah.
But then if I have to adapt, I can go to SC and kind of just analyze rooms and like be really calculated, and then my D and I go down.
Yeah.
So I flip very well, which is right because of what my parents are. My dads are very strong, but yo, what up? But my mother's like really like analytical, wallflower, won't talk to you.
Uh-huh.
But when she knows what she knows and she's in different rooms, she can kick it in, and my dad will kind of take the backseat.
Yeah.
So I have both of those wars in me. So depending on the room or what environment I'm in, I can flip flop between both.
Yeah.
So it gives me the ability to pull from different sides.
Yeah, it's important to understand what your personality profile
Absolutely.
is.
So
definitely recommend folks take the
and it's free.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
So you can just Google it.
Find that online.
Yeah, disc profile, and you can do it for free.
Yeah.
But knowing your disc profile, so you don't understand your personality, can help you a lot in networking, because you'll network with people like you, and then when you find that tribe, then it makes it a lot easier for you to build real relationships.
But it also helps you identify how to communicate with
The other styles,
Yeah,
too.
those styles, right?
But the first thing I think the first thing you want to do is connect with people like you.
Well, you won't know that right away.
But when you know it, you'll know it, because for some reason, like, we have a similar kind of a style where we can turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, and that just naturally happens. Where you can be whatever in the room, but then if you want to just chill, we can just chill. so that's a natural hit. Like, that actually just happens. That's not even like a forced thing. So like, even when you and I've interacted, there's always been like, it's just a natural progression. Like, oh, just like me. Like, all right, cool. And I think that's what people need to, when you know your personality profile, you end up meeting and connecting with people kind of like you first. And then you end up knowing how to communicate with the other types of personality profiles, because you know how to maneuver in those circles.
Okay. So you said so first tip is to understand your personality profile, so you can identify that in
Who
a room.
you are.
In a room.
Who you are in a room.
Oh yeah, who you are in a room.
Who you are in a room.
Okay.
And then number 2 is you'll figure out the people like you, because if you're like a S, which is like I would say safe, like not analytical, but just you kind of want structure.
Yeah, those were at the time. Those were the ones that our facilitator called doves, and so doves are ones that like they move in a group.
Yes.
They always want to talk about stuff like what like
Yeah.
and then when one moves they all move, but they don't like change.
And
They like stuff to be
structure.
predictability. You know, they
And
don't
you'll
like change.
find, and you can find how them in the room. You'll figure them out really quick. Like, oh, and it's like within quick, because they're not going to be the life of the party. They're not going to be having whole big groups. There'll be a small amount of them, and they're kind of looking around and kind of, there's a certain way about them. And then you could tell an influencer. It's a person who's just, they got a story for everything. They know everybody. Yo, meet so and so. Meet da 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 da. Like, and they won't shut the fuck up.
You're doing too much.
Exactly. And so you can understand, when you understand those personality profiles, and you learn how to maneuver in the room. So I definitely figure out your personality profile, figure out the tribe, and connect with those people first, because it'll make the room a lot less pressure for you, because you won't feel like you have to perform. Like you're saying, you'll be able to adapt and feel comfortable in the room, because you'll find somebody like-minded like you. I think the third thing is you have to know the event or the room you're walking into. So like you said, dudes coming to a networking event between lenders, for opportunity zones, you need to know the content of the room so that you can check the temperature, so that when you go in there and you get into these conversations, you can talk and have a piece for each personality profile, so that you're hitting them with whatever, but you're staying in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So you're jumping outside yourself, but you're not jumping too far outside yourself.
Yeah.
I think that matters the most. And then fourth, and I think the huge biggest thing is business cards. Learning how to exchange information and follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Exchange information and follow up. And what I think which is hard to do sometimes, is remember a thing about the person that you were talking to, that you're getting information from.
Mm-hmm.
So when you follow back up with that person, hey, Aaron, it was Andre. It's good to meet you last night at the thing. We talked about Kobe Bryant and how he scored 81 on Jalen Rose and da-da-da, so that now you kind of went personal, so that there's a connection, so that when they hit you back, it's, it was good to meet you, blah, 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 and then you can go from there into business. I think that's a really big art. And then finding just, those common areas where business and life kind of intersect, because people do business with who they like.
Yeah.
And kind of where they like, I would hang out with this person or have some kind of interaction with this person outside of this environment. You find that's how most business, like they would say, golf gets a lot of business done. Get you some clubs, get on the course. People who find themselves in those environments are like-minded people. Even people who suck at golf, from what I've heard.
Most people do.
Mm-hmm. But it's being able to even get into the arena, stepping out that comfort zone, and the people who get invited to golf are people you already connected with on that first level, that you share that kindredship. Like, oh, I'll play golf. You play golf? Cool. And the next thing you know, that veil kind of gets a little lower, and then lower. Next thing you know, you're doing deals, or you're doing business and building a relationship, I should say. And I think those are my biggest things I would say. What I learned was, one, dressing for the event. You don't want to be overdressed. You don't want to be underdressed. So knowing the event that you're going to, because certain events.
Well, is it possible to be overdressed?
Yes.
How so?
So I'm going to real estate investor network meetings, and you wear a 3-piece suit in there. You make people who are in contracts and stuff like that. You make them feel uncomfortable, because if a guy's in there in his steel-toe boots with dirt on them and dirty jeans, and that works blue collar worker, you showing up in a 3-piece suit makes him feel some kind of way about you.
You think so?
No, so.
Why? I guess I'm having a hard time with
because
that.
Because he sees you as a salesman. He sees you as someone who's trying to swindle money out of you.
But I guess I don't see it that way, because the contractor is going to look at them like, hey, look, you're part of the project, right?
Not all the time.
Yeah, I guess I'm not seeing that.
I see that a lot.
Huh.
And it's because it's a weird paradigm, but it's really not underdressing, not overdressing. Understanding that fair balance where you can be business casual, have a blazer, a shirt, maybe not a tie, but I got my, I'm comfortable, but I'm also still business, but I'm not making anybody feel uncomfortable. Or if I'm in your environment, I may have a 3-piece suit on because I'm around mortgage professionals, I'm around institutional banks, et cetera. I gotta be on my 1 and 2 there. But if I'm in a real estate networking meeting where you're 9 to 5 kind of people trying to take an extra dollar and invest it and flip it, they don't want to see somebody in a 3-piece suit, shiny shoes and nice fat gold watch. They can look at you like, yeah, nah, fam, I'm not dealing with you. And I've seen it. I legit remember how
that could go both ways.
Trust me, I've seen it with the people who end up really dealing with you. It's you either have to have, you'll get the certain people that go with you, but the tribe that you will build long-lasting relationships with, I don't really mess with that guy.
But you don't think that's just because they don't know who that person is?
Well, it depends, because most times when you see somebody who has that persona, it's just usually like a shark, a swindler.
I think it depends, right? Because if you're talking about a stranger, they're just gonna be like, all right, this is somebody I don't know, and
they don't want to invest the time to get to know you.
But I do think they end up being curious, because
it all depends.
But
at least it depends on the room. Because if I know, for me, I'll never forget a client that I had that was a millionaire. I would wear what I was used to, a suit, nice shoes, and go to work, show my houses and everything. He's looked at me like, yo, please, dress comfortably. You making me feel uncomfortable. And I looked at him like, same face, like, what? He was like, yo, you don't have to, just be comfortable.
And who was this?
It was one of my clients that was a millionaire. $1 million in assets.
But why was he? Did he expand on that?
Nope, and I kind of just like, all right, I took it like, oh, I got it. And like I said, we had this conversation before. The people that had money never really were unassuming. And people who don't have money were always over the top. It was very weird. But he taught me that. And I was just kind of like, I stopped and paid attention to it going, huh. And it's interesting because in my profession, I know a lot of people who have great cars, present well, fucking flat broke.
Yes.
And I know people who are very unassuming, don't really drive the best things, or like, don't always have the best show.
But I guess I also
and have a lot.
Yeah, so
and
I
have a great business.
So I think it depends also where you are in your career.
But it's
because I think if you've been in the game and you have and people are familiar with you, and you don't necessarily need the new business. You're stable. You have your book of business. Shit is circulating. Then I think you have the luxury of entering a room and being, dressed down or whatever, doing whatever you want. Essentially, but in my case, there wasn't a place that I could go brand new and not feel as if I had to wear a suit and a tie. And then because that's gonna be, I'm always looking at it as this is the first impression.
Of course.
Right? And so they need to at least understand that I can do this first, and then if they have a feeling about, if I'm making them feel uncomfortable, then okay. It's worth understanding why, because I don't think anyone will look at me and kind of
I'm not saying going in no
be
jeans or nothing like that, but I'm saying understanding your environment. That's all. I think I agree with you on showing up in a suit first because you want to show a level of respect and treat me with respect. Mm-hmm. I'm with that. But I'm also going, okay, what kind of people am I going to be around? If I'm going to be around investors, institutional investors, mayors and councilmen and stuff like that, yes, I'm wearing a suit. And I'm putting a tie on.
Yeah.
But if I know I'm going to be around 9 to 5 people or people that, everyday people, mm-hmm. I may just put on jeans, a blazer, and a nice shirt with my dress shoes.
Sure.
And that's what I'm saying of balance, so that you can go either way. I'm still professional, but it's when do I turn it up? When do I turn it down? And just knowing in those controls. Because some people, I've seen women walk into, rooms with, Louis Vuittons on, and people automatically get turned off by them. Because it's like, whatever. And it's a weird thing with people who are like, I'm not dealing with that person. Because it's just, they're too much. It's like, no, that's just you feeling some kind of way about them.
Right.
But when you're trying to sell something or network or trying to build connections, mm-hmm. you have to either find that middle ground or be like, yeah, this is what I'm about, and fuck it, either don't like me or don't.
Yeah.
And that's cool. For me, I just kind of go, what's the best temperature for me? Because you want to be able to relate to people on the way up and starting. You want to be with people who are already there and doing more and trying to build. Because you'll get more loyalty from me, but somebody who sees you when you see them when they're first starting off, you don't treat them like, oh, whatever, like you haven't done nothing yet. Rather than chasing all the business with a guy that's, everybody's trying to get business from him, and he's just trying to pick out who's the best fit for him. That's always been my motto for networking. So I want to talk to the person who's the green person in the room, because you can have a real dialogue with them.
Mm. So how do you open up the conversation? Is there a go-to line that you tend to spark it off with?
No, I think each interaction is different.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I'll be honest, it depends on my mood sometimes.
Of course, but when you're in the mood, is there?
No.
There's not a methodology.
No, it's more like, hey, I'm Andre. How you doing? Just, or you see something that's, oh, that's a nice watch. Like, oh, I'm into watches or something like that, and because those things I'm into. So I'm like, yo, where'd you get that? Mm-hmm. That's fly. Or I like that tie. Nice shoes. Or, those Ferragamos. Are they blah 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 blah. Johnson and Murphy's. and then it gets people to talk.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you compliment somebody about themselves, to talk.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not making it about me, I'm making it about them. And next thing you know, it's builds that, oh, you know, this is nice. Thank you. That usually, you know, thank you for the compliment. And then, you know, these are da da da. I'm like, oh, you know, I got something like that too, but one more. You know, tell me more about that. I've worked on more, but tell me more. Because there's certain conversations that I don't know all the time. So, you know, I'm not scared to go like, oh, explain that. I haven't dealt with that yet.
And usually people are excited to tell you more about things that they're interested in.
Correct. Where at first I used to be nervous of being like not knowing.
Feeling as if
Yeah.
you were like, yeah, or like yes.
Yeah.
The assumption
Yeah.
that because you are black,
Yeah.
you don't know shit.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
the, you know, whereas more of like, I haven't dealt with that. You know, break that down. Talk to me about it.
Right.
And then that inquisitiveness, you know, sometimes helps. When people say that you're willing to learn.
Yeah.
And you're not afraid to ask that question and be vulnerable in that moment. Like, I don't know that. I'm not even gonna bullshit you.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know. So,
Yeah.
what's up?
And the thing is, most people do ask questions, but for whatever reason, and I guess I know the reason, we
What's
tend
the
to be very sensitive about giving off the impression that we don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right. We feel as if we ask one question, that's an indictment on our whole our whole level of understanding of life and everything. So it's definitely something that I've had to get comfortable with, is asking questions, because I'm more observant and I try to grasp everything I can from my surroundings, and then I'll go home and research stuff after that.
Yeah.
Instead of asking questions in the moment. So I'm getting better at that. So
Yeah,
I
working in the
understand
room
for sure.
definitely makes a big difference too. I think what I do is I usually sit back and watch.
Mhm.
I try to watch the room first.
So when you get in there, you kind of hold up the wall.
I hold up the wall, but I kind of like circle around. You know, maybe go find a little buffet or like the little cheese platter kind of joints and just kind of get over there for a little minute. May say hey to somebody standing next to me, you know, but kind of seeing how the room is working, you know, for the night. Like who's what and where, and then, you know, do I know anybody in here? Because that's always easy too.
Right.
You know, if I don't know, then it's all right. Then game time, I got to be on my 1 and 2. If I do know people, and then you kind of go like, hey, you know, and that makes it a lot easier because then they bring you around people that you may have not known, and then that's an easier introduction. So that cosign, correct. So I think those are things that I definitely do when I go networking. But lately it's been more networking in areas that I'm new at, and environments that I'm new at, which is tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
Okay. And networking, so that marries in with public speaking too, right? We haven't talked about public speaking yet. And so actually we did. We started off with whether we thought it was easier to speak to a group of friendlies or unknowns, right? So to loop this back into effectively networking, presentation obviously was one of your big things. So it was one, understanding your personality profile so you can identify similar people, and then trying to find something that intrigues you about one person or another that you can either pose a question about, right? But I don't think we settled on the presentation of yourself physically.
I said just know how to, don't figure out the room, figure out your environment. Don't be dressed, either overdressed or don't underdress. Like find that balance.
So do your research.
Do your research. Do
your research.
Do your research. Know the type of people you're going to be around.
Because in my scenario,
but you're in a different field too.
What meaning? What?
The people that you're networking with are not everyday people.
Why not?
They call shots.
Man, it's people. Man, municipalities being there. I mean, these are like public workers, people from the state, people from the cities.
And they're not showing up in there in no Jordans.
Okay.
That's my point. Like, these are actual people who have gone and they're public servants. Yeah. So they're going to have a different level of, of decorum, different level of presentation. They're not coming. Their 9 to 5 is not a 9 to 5 of somebody that's working at a call center or a nurse.
Well, I mean, you could. All right.
That's my point. Like they're a different type of worker.
Yeah.
So they're not showing up into these these arenas and environments how they would on a Saturday going grocery shopping. So that's why I said for you it's a little different. Me, I run the gamut of the person that wears sweatpants every day to the person who wears suits every day. Like, and you have to find that balance.
Yeah. Buddy could have wore some khakis.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Like, I feel like you really hurting mad at him. I get it.
I am.
I know you are. Like,
I'm mad.
You taking it personal.
I am mad. I have to because I shoulder the burden of damn near everybody that looks like me because
He wasn't on
because
point.
every time, and that's the other thing is that every time I step out, I'm either allowing someone to say, okay, and then they may give somebody else that looks like me an opportunity. Versus if they see me and I look like who did it and ran, then they're like perpetuating the stereo. That's why I don't fuck with that. That's why I don't,
it.
you know. So,
but I'm just saying the what you got in your heart towards that dude, like damn, you mad at that?
I'm mad.
You mad?
There's no
You mad?
excuse.
Mad?
There is no excuse.
You big mad?
I mean, I'm big mad, little mad. Once I'm irritated, I'm irritated, bro.
I know that.
That's bad. I'm just like, damn, man, you could have did better than this.
But for him,
And at least you could have at least took off your hat. At least took off the Scully, because it wasn't even like a top hat. It was like this joint right here, big old Pittsburgh Steelers, black and yellow fuzzy ball at the top.
so you know what people could try to kill you on though, right?
What?
Did you go over there and try to put him on game?
Hell no.
See?
Are you crazy?
See?
Hell no. I wasn't no saving this dude. Nah, I wasn't going to be the one that... He already paid his money. So far as I'm concerned, bruh, if you know enough to pay $100 or more for an event, then you should take it upon yourself to understand, to either say, one, I'm going to go in here looking like something, or two, I don't give a damn. I'm going to go how I want to go. And either way, I can't save you from either one of those.
I'm just saying.
Cause let me go over there and be like, yo, bro, you could have blah, 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 blah. He'd be like, man, get off me. I'm going to do what I want to do. And that would have been a whole nother thing. That's a fact.
Oh, God.
What?
Yeah, because I see that right
You know how it goes.
Right
You know how it goes.
Right.
Because it's always the person that tries to help that gets the shit into the stick. You know? I've been in that position too many times where you try to lend a hand and then you don't want to get kicked in the mouth. That's like trying to stop a fight, trying to break up a fight. You don't want to get punched in the face by both people. Nope. Sorry, not doing that.
Yeah, he wouldn't get the tap in, yo, bro.
Nope. Because then people would think I knew this dude, this knucklehead. And then they'll be asking me questions. Like, yo, what's up with your man? You know that guy? And I'll be like, no, I don't know him. Because then I'll be mad that you think I know him because he's black. So, no. Shoot.
I'm just saying. Just for the other side, somebody might challenge you on it. Like, yo,
They can challenge me all they
like,
want.
yeah, they'd be like, yo, each one
Challenge
teach one.
me. Yo.
Each one teach one.
I'll teach that man in the parking lot. Maybe, but not even. That man was grown as hell.
That don't mean nothing.
So, man.
Age ain't nothing but a number.
Yeah,
Mindset's
you're right.
everything.
You're right about that. But nah, it wasn't gonna be me that day. Nope. It wasn't gonna be me.
Not even a little bit.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Nope. I want people to challenge me on this. I definitely want to hear people. I want to hear the feedback. Let's take it there.
You took that so personally.
Because I work so hard on about presenting the right image because I know it ain't just about me.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? It's not just about me. And so it's important that I reflect my best self because I don't feel like suiting up all the time. But I also know that somebody's going to be out there that's going to meet me for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can't I don't have the luxury. Sometimes I'll be like, F it, like, you know, whatever, like, you know, whatever. But most of the time, I gotta impress, and that's the pressure that comes with being black. Period.
Yes.
You know, you represent not only for yourself, but for your family name and the people that you don't even know.
Correct.
You representing for the next.
I
I know you get it, but I'm just
I'm
setting the
saying,
people up for anybody who try to come at me. I'm setting it up right now.
But you ain't want to tap nobody on the shoulder, be like, yo, bro.
This dude was sitting dead in the middle of the room too. He wasn't even in the back. He went to. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sat in the middle of the room. Pittsburgh Steelers Scully with the fuzzy on the top.
Oh man, because I used to remember them text messages. You was hot. You was so hot. Yo, you bleeding shit.
Yo, I was like, "What's wrong with this picture?" And y'all found it right away. Big old fuzzy in the middle of the.
It was obvious. It was obvious. I'm just saying. Somebody might challenge you on the fact that each one teach one.
I love it.
Throw them in a life raft, a little bit of something.
Nope.
You wasn't even trying to hear none of that.
Nope. Nope. Not right there. Not in that instance. Each scenario is different. Sometimes there's an opportunity to teach one. Sometimes it ain't worth it. You gotta just let that bird fly.
That was a pigeon.
I don't care what it was. I wasn't touching it. I wasn't about to be the one cleaning up the bird shit. Nope. Yeah.
I wonder
So
where that guy is at now.
well, you might be able. I don't know. But I'm so curious to know why he was there, because I didn't know if he was just trying to learn something. Did he actually think he wanted? Was he a property owner? I don't know. He could have been anything, honestly. But the imagery was just so messed up.
You wasn't trying to mess with it.
It's like, bruh, I
Can't rock with you.
like, and obviously it goes against this whole, well, people shouldn't judge a book by its cover. I'm like, well, in a perfect world, sure, but that ain't the world that we live in. Okay, so nah, you don't get to do that.
Oh God.
If you have generational wealth and you're not relying on anybody to help you fund your family and keep a roof over your head, then you gotta play the game. And I've thought about all this stuff. Oh well, he might have had money. If he had money, he would have sent somebody else to that conference, and they would have reported back what they learned.
Maybe he did that to see who would talk to him.
But then what? This is too small a state to be trying to go to an Opportunity Zone conference.
Just saying. Maybe that was his tester to see, like, yo, because I've done that before.
What you think
too.
he tested?
Who would talk to him based off of how his looks were?
And then what?
You figure out, all right, if somebody willing to have the conversation with me, see what my mind, see what I have, what I'm bringing to the table. Maybe, like you said, maybe he had something, but he was kind of testing the room of like, yo.
But who you testing, bro? Like, but
I don't know.
For what purpose? That don't need to me. I'm like, for what purpose? Like, who cares? Who you testing? Like, are you trying to make money or not? That's why people are there. Like, if you're trying to test, then test away. You're wasting everybody else's time. Like, you know, like, so, because eventually, if you're going to talk to somebody about it, then you have to talk to them. And then they're going to have to want to receive you as a person if they give you the time.
And that's probably what he was looking for. Who's going to create a real relationship with him? Not based on how he dressed, maybe based on what he had.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it.
We know. We know you didn't see it. I'm just saying.
I don't see it. I'd love to be wrong and schooled on this, but yeah, I don't see it. The rationale, I've thought about the rationale. I'm thinking about all the ways, every way possible that this could be justified. I couldn't get there. I'm like, well, it ain't money because he paid $100+ to get in here, so it ain't that. It ain't like you know, he's struggling. Nah, because then I'm like, paid $100-something to get in here. Even at that point, you ain't got nothing. You could go to Old Navy and get you some khakis and a button down. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still, I mean, in the end, everything is business casual right now anyway. it ain't much that's very, very formal.
Yep.
I mean, all people asking for is a collar shirt and some khakis.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you could scoop that up for $15 at Old Navy,
Yes.
right? So, it ain't that. And I'm just like, so.
That dude had all kind of nerves.
Yeah. I mean, it tears me up. Because I've been in that situation where, you know, people, even at work, there was a time in the office where there was a homicide in the town that I grew up in, and somebody had the nerve to ask me, "Did you know this person?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, what? Like, yo, like what? Asking me like, why? Like, why would I know this person?
Yeah.
You know, like what would?
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm from there?
Yeah, how you draw that correlation?
You know, like so I've been there. But yeah, that's my grievance. I didn't know we was gonna get into that today, but we did, and I'm more than happy to get into it with anybody.
On that.
I'm here for it. I'm here
Want
for it.
smoke.
I'm here for it. Got the time. But yeah, so that was that. And like I said, I definitely want to hear everybody else's opinion on it. So, man, give them that the info.
You hit us up on IG at On2 Podcast. Bring that smoke to E.
Bring it. Let's go.
Bring that smoke to E.
Bring it. Let's go. Peace.